He knocked me over. I landed on the dog bowl.
This one's wife. Look at this lunacy. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. In an earlier video, I explained that as a consequence of the fact that the Prince and Princess of Wales were celebrating their 14th wedding anniversary and were well received by various people on the Isle of Mull, this will have driven this one's wife nuts. It drives her nuts because the attention is on the one that got away and her nemesis. This means that with people talking about them and not her, she's wounded. It basically makes her feel small, makes her feel vulnerable, makes her feel weak. And her narcissism as the self-defense mechanism kicks in and causes her to respond to try and bring the attention back onto her, to alleviate the wounding and so that she receives fuel. Anybody else would just let the anniversary pass by. Anybody else wouldn't get put out about it. But a narcissist such as this one's wife, who focuses on the Prince and Princess of Wales, who regularly watches what they're doing, cannot help but react to it. And this is why we have seen numerous instances in the past of this one's wife seeking to steal the thunder of the Prince and Princess of Wales because of her obsessive watching of them and the impact it has upon her by virtue of her narcissism. For instance, when William was making an appearance with regard to one of his ventures, she launched American Riviera Orchard in an attempt to overshadow it. When Catherine was returning to public duties by making an appearance at Trooping the Colour last year after the cancer treatment, she launched the ridiculous jam and dog biscuits. Predictably enough, as a consequence of the widespread and favourable coverage of the Prince and Princess of Wales and their visit to the Isle of Mull and their wedding anniversary, this one's wife needs to try and bring the attention back onto her. She lacks the sophistication of certain narcissists, whereby they would just stay in a position of withdrawal and shrug it off and move on to doing more important things. The pettiness of this one's wife means she cannot help but need to get herself in the public eye. And as I've told you before, her Instagram provides her with the perfect platform for doing this, albeit the law of collateral consequences comes to visit once again as she ends up making herself look stupid. Here is the latest reel that was posted a short time ago by this one's wife by virtue of her attempt to nullify the threat to control posed by the attention going to the Prince and Princess of Wales. Here's the first part of the reel. So the first section of the reel is once again performative behaviour by this one's wife. Remember, it's driven by her narcissism because she has to counter the threat to control posed by the coverage of the Prince and Princess of Wales, and her narcissism is causing her to think about creating something to put on Instagram. She doesn't think to herself, I'm experiencing a threat to control, I need to deal with it. She simply thinks, I'll go and put something on Instagram. I'll do something nice about my garden. And thus, her narcissism tells her that's what she should do. But underneath that is the need to nullify the threat to control posed by the coverage of the Prince and Princess of Wales, the need to assert control over an audience and draw fuel from it and manage her facade. So what does she do? She sets up a camera and then, and goodness knows how many takes she took of this, she walks down some steps. Yeah. So she comes into view carrying a very large basket, which looks a little bit cumbersome for her, which is stuffed with roses. So we have, if you like, the embellishment, look at me with my huge basket of roses in my garden. But also note how she's dressed. Yesterday, it was in the 70s in Monty Shit Show. That's reasonably warm. And what she got on, tight jeans, Hunter Wellington boots, and a wax jacket, along with something on underneath and a baseball cap. She'll be sweating cobs. Not only because she's inappropriately dressed, again, it's warm, and she's exerting herself. She is seeking to emulate the county set or country look of the Princess of Wales in what she's wearing. Once again, the emptiness of this narcissist causing her to engage in this mimicry. And she comes over towards the camera. She naturally knows that it's there because she set it up, and then makes a stupid laugh noise. Why? Because she doesn't know how to act. And so what we get here is the first part of her captioning it End of Day Harvest. It's utterly banal, other than providing me with an excellent opportunity once again to dissect it so you understand her narcissism in action. But if it wasn't that, what have you got? Woman carrying roses, walking down steps, makes laugh at end. Vacuous, utterly pointless. But wait, there's more. This time, recording duties have been passed to Harry, and he's been instructed, film me as I walk awkwardly carrying a basket of oranges with the suggestion that they have been picked from our own orangery, although undoubtedly their shop bought is the performative nature of this one's wife, and I'll struggle along with the basket of flowers. Notice Harry makes no attempt to help. Probably he can't be asked because he's spliffed out of his tiny mind, or he's been told not to, so she can look like she's ever so cute and relatable as she struggles along with the wares of the day's harvest of oranges and roses. He just sits there going, sounding like a spliffed out chimp. Well, there we are. But yet again, what's going on? Her narcissism demands that she's filmed for the purpose of creating content that she can then use to draw attention back onto her, to nullify the threat posed by the coverage of the Prince and Princess of Wales, to assert control over her own audience, and to draw fuel from them. Strip that out, what are you actually watching? Overdressed woman struggling along in garden. Boring. It serves more purpose to scrutinise her for her narcissism. But we're not finished yet. Footage of the roses laid on the grass, dog goes past, look at my idyllic life. I have a dog, I have roses. Life is sweet. Isn't it just? How wonderful. How marvellous. And then another piece of footage is provided for us. It's much the same, showing off the idyll. Roses, strawberries have now appeared, don't know where they came from, along with the oranges. Look, this is where I live. You're a poor, but you can look on and envy me. Here are my dogs. This is my life, isn't it wonderful? Well, it may well be wonderful, but notice this is simply showing off. It's the sense of entitlement of the narcissist and her grandiosity to show you her world. Not because she wants you to be genuinely interested in it, because simply she needs to show you it in order to nullify the threat to control posed by the coverage of the Princess and Princess of Wales and to draw a response from the audience. She captions it a beautiful end to the day. Overall, it's not particularly interesting other than the purpose it serves for seeing her narcissism in action. But it demonstrates what a Fruit Loop this woman is. Threatened by the coverage of the Princess and Princess of Wales, her narcissism gears her into action so that she wears clothing on a day that is totally inappropriate because it's far too warm, so that she then films herself struggling down some steps with an oversized basket, struggling with two baskets in front of her husband who laughs like a chimp, and then eventually she dumps it all on the grass where probably a minion was told to pick it up and the dogs run around. Again, it's awkward. It's unrelatable, although she thinks that it's cute and relatable. And it demonstrates the way that her narcissism causes her to act, not quite getting it right, misfiring, and as you know, all driven, because it's done with the anticipation of people seeing it, to pursue subconsciously the prime aims. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for watching.